Many of you have heard of the basic Kabbalistic process elements of creation called Sefirot. But did you know that there are even more basic Kabbalistic process elements called Chasadim and Gevurot? In this explainer, we will introduce the fundamental Kabbalistic concept of Chasadim and Gevurot, which in the context of our physical world, we might call energy and constraint mechanisms that underpin every physical process in the world around us. Please note that all the ideas we will introduce are fully explained with source material in my latest book, Shomer Emunim, The Introduction to Kabbalah. Click on the link in the description below for details about my book. The term Chasadim is usually simply translated as kindnesses, but it really refers to a process of giving and bestowal, and as described in explainer number 2, it is in that context only that it is referred to as being male. This giving and bestowal is a process of the provision of energy. The term Gevurot, on the other hand, is simply translated as strengths, sternness, or judgments. Strength is a resistance against a supply of energy, a resistance that constrains it. Fundamentally, as we will explain, it is the constraint of energy that channels the energy in a particular way and enables the energy to be expressed. Without the constraint, the energy is not expressed. Without the energy, there is nothing to be constrained. Kabbalah teachings explain that every process at every world level, without exception, can only happen through at least some level of integration of Chasadim and Gevurot. Nothing can exist without them. Even the interplay of the Kabbalistic concept of Sefirot can be broken down to be understood in terms of Chasadim and Gevurot, of energy and constraint. So what does this mean in real terms? Let's start with a simple example. What exactly happens when we walk? Energy is produced in our legs, which pushes against the floor, and because the floor resists with friction, our leg moves forward and we end up walking. So the leg provides the energy, the Chasadim. The floor, on the other hand, provides the constraint, the Gevurot, the friction that allows the leg's energy to push against it. It is the combination of the energy and the constraint that enables the forward movement and walking to happen. Imagine trying to walk on ice. The leg provides the energy, the Chasadim, in the normal way. However, no resistance is provided by the ice. The leg has nothing to push against. There are no Gevurot. And instead of moving forward, it slips backwards and the person falls on the spot and goes nowhere. So Chasadim, energy, without corresponding Gevurot, constraint, does not allow any form of movement to occur. This can be generalized by saying that for physical work of any form to take place, there must be some form of restriction or constraint, the Gevurot, otherwise the energy that is invested, the Chasadim, will simply dissipate. Think of a cannon, which encloses gunpowder and a cannonball. When the gunpowder is ignited, the release of energy, the Chasadim, is constrained and pushes against the enclosure of the cannon, the Gevurot. This pushes the cannonball forward and shoots it at high speed out of the cannon. If the gunpowder is just placed under the cannonball in the open air without the cannon case, when ignited, the gunpowder will furiously burn, but all of its energy will be dissipated into the air and the cannonball will not move anywhere. A similar example is with an internal combustion engine powering a car, where there is an open-ended cylinder containing a flammable gas that has a piston inserted within the cylinder, fully enclosing the gas. When the gas, usually air, is ignited, it explosively expands, releasing energy, Chasadim, to push the piston with great force, which results in the physical work of the engine movement. If there is no cylinder, Gevurot, containing the gas, and the gas is ignited in the open air next to the piston, the exploding gas will just dissipate on all sides and will not cause the piston to move. It is therefore the constraint, the Gevurot, of the cylinder that enables the ignited, expanding gas, the Chasadim, to perform any work by moving the piston and the car. It is remarkable that recent studies have shown that biological reproduction, the basis of all life as we know it, appears to be governed by cycles of highly constrained energy release stages, by balanced combinations of energy and constraint, of Chasadim and Gevurot. Even the process of analytical thought works in the same way. An initial concept, the germ of an idea, can be thought of as energy, chasadim. It is analyzed by being constrained and broken down into its elements, Gevurot, the different aspects and angles of the initial idea. Each of these individual aspects views the idea in a specific constrained scenario, providing different perspectives of the underlying idea. This results in a deeper understanding of the initial idea, which cannot be properly related to without the constraint of the analysis. While these examples of Chasadim and Gevurot all apply to our physical world, they have a subtle, highly abstract analog that consistently applies to all Kabbalistic worlds. To sum up, everything that happens in all of existence can only occur through the interaction of Chasadim and Gevurot, which we see manifest in the world around us in terms of energy and constraint cycles. In our next explainer, we will introduce the Kabbalistic concept of the Sefirot. Before you go, don't forget, click on the link in the description below for details about Shomer Emunim, the Introduction to Kabbalah, which contains comprehensive explanations and sources for everything in this explainer series. So, thank you for listening and looking forward to seeing you in explainer number 5.